Network.
It is a gorgeous 67 degrees here in New York City as the crowd files in the Yankee Stadium. They will get a chance to see a couple of new Yankees. That's right, Austin Romine has joined the team after the injury to Francisco Cervelli, and Vidal Nuno takes over for the injured Ivan Nova. And everyone is ready for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the Toronto Blue Jays against the New York Yankees in the third game of 4 from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kay. Well, the Yankees won the second game of the 4-game set, so they've won the first 2, actually, and now they go for number 3, and they send out CC Sabathia. Now, Sabathia, last time out against the Rays, who he struggles against usually, he struggled early, and he ended up taking the loss.
Well, it wasn't one of his finer moments, obviously. CC Sabathia is a second-half pitcher. This is one of the starts you just want to forget about. You see, up in the zone, kind of got beat up a little bit, and he went in and kind of beat up on himself. He got mad, and then by the end of the game, he got a few strikeouts, a few things that could help him. But you know what? If he wins today, as successful as he's been, it'll be the first time in his career that he wins 4 games in April. So don't worry about CC Sabathia.
Let's take a look at the New York Lottery pitching matchup. Jay Happ, another left-hander, is going to go for the Blue Jays. 2-1, 3.68. We saw Sabathia 3-2 with a pretty good ERA in the early going, 3.34. Well, we told you about the injuries yesterday. Not too good. They lose Cervelli, and they also lose Nova. The injury list keeps climbing, but they keep winning. How? We'll talk about it next. By Montefiore Medical Center, Inspired Medicine. Francisco Cervelli is on the DL, fractured right hand. Ivan Nova also on the DL, inflammation in his right triceps. The Yankees called up Austin Romine and Vidal Nuno. They did get some good news. Kevin Youkilis is in the lineup today. Well, there you have it. More injuries for the Yankees. That's Paul O'Neill. I'm Michael Kay. The Yankees keep having people get injured, keep putting people on the list that keep winning. How?
Well, you know, if you look back at years where we had great years, it's because we stayed healthy. And, you know, injuries are part of the game, but this is pretty extreme. I mean, they're going through a whole array of injuries, but I tell you what, they continue to win some games. And so you look at the good thing. You're giving guys opportunities to get better, and if you can stay in this thing and continue to win some games, everybody comes back. It's like having a new team. Does a team feel when it's injured, though, that it has something to prove that it could win without those guys? Well, I think it gives a lot of people confidence. I mean, Nick is having a good opportunity now. Nunez is having – guys are going to become better players by the opportunities they're getting now. I mean, your star players, Granderson, Teixeira, they're going to come back and they're going to help this team. But the guys that they're playing now are going to be better for it. Well, there you have it. So the injury list grows, but so do the wins. Pretty strange combination. When we get back, lineups,
First Pitch Baseball coming up next right here on Yes. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. Buy Heineken, open your world, enjoy responsibly. And by the Kia Optima Limited Midsize Sedan, elegance, performance, technology. Really is a beautiful day for baseball, crowd filing into the stadium. And the Yankees have taken the field. John Gibbons hoping to straighten out what's going wrong with his Blue Jay team. They've gotten off to a 9-15 start. So why don't we check out the Blue Jays starting lineup that's going to face CC Sabathia. Rajai Davis in center will lead off, batting second and playing left field, Melky Cabrera. Jose Bautista in right field, he'll hit third. Edwin Encarnacion cleans up, he plays first. JP Arancibia, the catcher, bats fifth. Batting sixth, playing third base, Brett Laurie. Mark DeRosa gets started DH today, he'll bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing shortstop today is Meister Asturias, and Emilio Bonifacio, the second baseman, will bat ninth. The big left-hander, CC Sabathia, is on the mound with a 3-2 record. 3.34, 33 hits in 35 innings, 10 walks, 32 strikeouts. Let's check out the pitcher's scouting report, which is brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers.
Well, Michael, it is a beautiful day. Since joining the Yankees, CC Sabathia loves to pitch during the day. 24-10 since joining the Yankees here. Looking for history. With a win today, he has defeated Toronto at least once in the last 10 seasons, which would be an all-time record for a streak. So let's keep up with that. University of Hawaii, I want to get away from baseball a little bit, Michael. He was recruited high school for football. He was a tight end. He also got recruited by UCLA. So a little background information for you.
I think he made the better choice.
Yeah, right now I'm sure he's very happy where he is.
Every 2 weeks, even happier. So Rajai Davis steps in. CC is ready, and let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is a strike, and we're underway.
Every 2 weeks. And that just goes to show you, I mean, players get paid every 2 weeks.
Most people
during
get
the
paid every
season.
2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. Now, you don't get paid during the offseason as a player, right?
No, it's all during the season. So those were the good old days. You're right.
Now, check this out, because I know you're so umpire-centric. Jeff Kellogg is behind the plate. He's the home plate ump. So I wonder what CC's record is with Jeff Kellogg as home plate ump. He's 3-0 with a 0.42 ERA in his starts with the Yankees with Kellogg behind the plate.
So he's only got 3 starts, and he absolutely deals. So we might as well just sit back and enjoy the fun.
Right. I think that's what he's planning.
Now, what in the world did you look that up for? Why'd you even think of that?
Because people underestimate the importance of an umpire to a pitcher. Some umpires cater to a pitcher's style and what they throw.
I always felt like they catered to the pitcher. I agree with that.
And there are about, I'd say, 60, 70 Gatorade buckets that agree with you. 9-15 for the Blue Jays, and it has not been the start that they envisioned. They hiked their payroll about $50 to $60 million from last year. They made that big trade with the Marlins. They acquired R.A. Dickey, the reigning Cy Young Award winner from the National League, from the Mets, and off to a bad start. He could not hold up. Davis down on strikes.
Good slider down and in, and you know when you're ahead like CC Sabathia got against Davis, it just expands the strike zone so much. Hitters get in a defensive mode. You see that pitch is unhittable. It's out of the strike zone in the dirt, but close enough. You can't hold back. You know, I was thinking, Michael, yesterday, and the Blue Jays came in here, you know, and they're struggling offensively. But, you know, yesterday, I mean, Encarnacion, 2 home runs, Bautista home run. So you're getting production in home runs, and you're still losing games. And as a manager, that's kind of scary. You know, when you got guys that having big games for you, 2 home runs, and you still lose, there's something wrong.
Now, the pitching has not been great. They had an emergency starter in Aaron Laffey. He pitched poorly and was designated for assignment. That one's fouled away. So that is a tough day at the office. Have a bad day and you're gone. Well, Josh Johnson had to be scratched because of the triceps injury. And so they plugged in Laffey, and Laffey did not perform.
Well, Joe Girardi had a long night again last night, trying to make moves, do this, trying to figure out, you know, how you're going to continue to field a team that wins. And he's got some guys doing a good job. You keep picking up Nix, he's doing a good job. Euclid back in the lineup, so that's kind of a shot in the arm. They didn't have to DL him, got him back in the game.
Popped up. Cano is there for the second half. I want to check out the Yankee defense behind Sabathia. You've got Wells in left, Gardner in center, and Ichiro over and right. Infield, Nix, who Paul just talked about, Nunez, Cano, and Euclid third to first. Stewart behind the plate, and Karsten Charles Sabathia is on the mound. So Euclid has missed the last 6 games. He was in the original lineup. Joe wanted to see how he performed in batting practice, not where he hit the ball, but whether or not he stiffened up, and he said he's okay, and he's in the lineup. And it's important for the Yankees to know he's okay, because if he plays 2 innings today, has to come out, and then they have to DL him. They missed all those backdate days. So if you play him today, you've got to really feel sure that he is close to 100%. Bautista just missed one, a high fly ball to left. And Wells puts it away as the Blue Jays go down in order 1-2-3. It's Toronto nothing, and the New York Yankees coming back. Play center field. Jason Nix is at third base. He'll bat second. Batting third, playing second base is Robinson Cano. Vernon Wells in left field cleans up. Batting fifth, playing first base, Kevin Youkilis. Travis Happen with the DH will bat sixth, so they give him the start against the left-hander. Ichiro Suzuki in right field bat seventh. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, Eduardo Nunez. And Chris Stewart will catch. And he's going to bat ninth. So let's take a look at Jay Happ, the left-hander for the Blue Jays, and the Yankees have faced a lot of them. In fact, 9 of their last 13 games have had left-handed starting pitchers. Happ, 4 starts, 2-1, 3.68. All the numbers are very, very good. So let's check out the pitcher scatter report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers.
He's a 5-pitch guy, 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, a slider, cutter, curveball, so he throws everything, and his changeup. Don't call me J.A., although his name is James Anthony, and his initials are J.A. He pronounces his name J, so don't make that mistake today, Mike.
All right.
Recent road triumphs, he's been very good on the road. He hadn't lost his last 4 roads, and that's important. He's really been the Blue Jays' best starter so far.
They kind of forced his way into the rotation with a great spring. Here is Brett Gardner. He essentially beat out Ricky Romero, who was a really highly touted starter, did very well in the big leagues, and they sent him all the way down in the minor leagues to kind of redo himself.
Yeah, he had a little problem with his elbow, had some things cleaned up, and it kind of messed up his mechanics. And he's pitching in Dunedin in the Florida State League, which is A-ball.
And that is a trip that the great Roy Halladay once made, where they reinvented him many, many years ago. See, Gardner's second on the team from the leadoff spot in RBIs with 12. Happ clips the outside corner, 1-2.
A lot of guys don't realize how height really changes your delivery. I mean, he's a tall guy, tall lefty, and it really changes your delivery where you're picking up the baseball as a hitter. And it had a lot of trouble with tall left-handers because you're where you pick up the ball, there's a big angle with the ball. Right over the top.
So you must have had a lot of fun with Randy Johnson.
Hated him. He's one of my career highlights, believe me. You know, Michael, you were talking about it, and he was really the 6th starter going into Blue Jays camp, and he flat out said to the papers, hey, I'm not going to be an insurance policy. I'm a major league pitcher. And he backed it up. He had an unbelievable spring, and so far, so good for him this year. A lot of guts to say that to an organization.
And then to back it up. You could say it and then fail.
You look bad.
Three-2. Blew it right by him upstairs. Tipped into the glove of Aaron Sebia. So there's one away. Let's check out the Blue Jay defense. In the outfield, you've got Cabrera, Davis, and Bautista. That's left to right. And in the infield, it's Laurie, Estures, Bonifacio, and Encarnacion. That's third to first. We already met Aaron Sebia behind the plate. And Jay Happ is on the mound. Here's Jason Nix. Fouls it away.
We talked about 5 pitches from Happ, and he'll use them all at any time, but he still has to locate. He's not a guy that's going to throw the ball by you, although he's tall and his arm angle is different. He will pitch up, down, in and out.
Lined into right field, a base hit for Nix.
I really like this guy, Michael. Again, he's getting an opportunity from injuries, and you know what you're getting. I mean, he might not be the best player on the field, but he plays hard. Defensively, he's done a great job. He puts together good at-bats.
Hey, let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 67 degrees, 21% humidity. The wind is not much, 6 miles per hour, and the forecast is clear and cool. There is not a cloud in the sky right now.
I'll tell you what, Michael, this has been one of the best homestands we've had together in the booth weather-wise. Been beautiful.
It has been great.
No chance of showers, nothing.
You requested, but you requested too late. You wanted to actually broadcast the game from the stands today. That's some sun.
Be nice, right?
Yeah.
When we look cute out there.
Be adorable. The 1-0. 2-0.
This is going to be one of those days, Michael, you can tell already, where the sun, there's going to be shadows before this game's over. With no clouds in the sky, there will be issues with the hitters as this game goes on.
Count 3-0, so Aaron Sebia.
When that shadow line gets to about right here and you're half in, half out, that's when it becomes really tough. You just cannot pick up the seams of the baseball. You know, it comes out of the bright light and then you lose the seams when it goes through the dark.
So the catcher has a conference and now bat. Three-0. Give him a strike. 3-1.
You see a lot of pitchers, and I've said it time and time again, Robbie only gets in trouble when he goes outside the strike zone. And you see a lot of pitchers getting behind now. He's so hot that they're nibbling, trying to get him to swing at pitches, but he's been patient. He's got a few pitches he's hit out. He's had some big at-bats in this series. So right now he's staying in that strike zone, and that's why he's being so successful. Ooh.
Just got the outside corner. Cano thought it was ball 4.
Well, he stayed with the strike zone again. It was ball 4. That's that pitch that you know, there's nothing you can do. That ball's down and away. Nothing you can do as a hitter. You can't do anything with that pitch.
It might have been a strike, Paul.
It's low, Michael. I'm telling you, can't hit it.
Well, just because you can't hit it doesn't mean it's a strike.
I know. I'm not a big fan of that pitch right there.
So it's a real tough pitch to hit.
Yeah. You know, Knicks will be, I would think, off to the races here with Robbie Cano swinging.
Doesn't go, and the ball fouled away.
Like I said, I think he'll stay right there.
Huh? Doesn't mean you were wrong. Yeah. Just thinks that Joe wasn't thinking like you. Now he goes. Now, does that lead you to believe that somebody missed the sign? Well, he just changed his mind.
Joe was looking at Robbie taking some pitches, and then he saw a good swing on that one, and all of a sudden it's like, he's going to go right after him. Here, let's put him in motion. That, or he's listening to us in the dugout.
Could be.
Yeah. Usually there's not a sign to be missed. 3-1, 3-2, you're always going until they give you the stop sign. And
he doesn't go that time. So a base hit, first and second. How do you figure that?
I don't. I can't explain that one. I mean, either you're going or you're not, but Robbie had a good enough at bat to hammer one through the hole. But the problem is, if you are going, you might be first or third right here, which we'll see if that matters. Got Robbie on a 10-game hitting streak against Toronto. He hits everybody, though. It's just not Toronto.
Here's Vernon Wells. A strike.
A little change-up, trying to turn that over. And, we talk about Vernon Wells, why he's been successful, trying to hit the ball to right more. It seems to me, in these clutch situations, runners in scoring position, he kind of goes back to his old habits of trying to pull a lot. And, you take a little bit off, throw that change-up away, try to get him to roll over something. And back-to-back change-ups there. Very successful against his ex-teammates, and that doesn't surprise me. There's something about when you play against a team that you're used to play for. You always get a little more adrenaline. I remember going in spring training with the Yankees when we played the Reds in spring training. I wanted to go out and play well. It's weird.
The 0-2. Driven into center field. Davis back. Makes the play. As Nix goes to third, so it did count if the same pitch and the same fly ball was hit. If he was at third, he would have scored.
I'll tell you one thing, Michael, and we've seen that Rajah Davis in center field today plays much deeper than Rasmus did the past couple of days. That ball right there gives Rasmus all kinds of problems, where it was an easy play for Davis. See how deep he is, where, you know, that ball, sure, he gets a good jump, he gets back quick, but very easy play, and you see his foot almost hits the warning track.
All right, so here's Kevin Youkilis. Missed the last 6 games. Last time he played was against the Blue Jays in Toronto. And even before he got hurt, he was starting to slump a bit. 1 hit in his last 15 at-bats. And hasn't had a hit against a lefty since opening day. In fact, in the early going, Youkilis 1 for 19 against lefties.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. As much as he stays in, and he will use the whole field.
Two and one.
You see Happ. I mean, he's going with the same action, fastball and changeup, out on that outside corner. Once in a while, you try to sneak something inside just to keep the hitters honest. And he's really been pounding that outside corner.
Missed it that time, 3-1. Grounded to third. Brett Laurie gets the force at second, and that will do it. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Let's go to the second inning. There's no score here in the Bronx. Go to Yankees.com/Prius to enter for your chance to win the Yankees Prius plug-in. So we start the conversation this way. Which starting pitcher was more dominant on Friday and why? Anibal Sanchez or Jordan Zimmerman? And here's your first response. Tracery says Sanchez. He dominated, would have had a complete game had strikeouts not raised his pitch count so high. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses going hashtag Yankees Prius to keep the conversation going. Here's Edwin Encarnacion. He has homered in 4 straight games, and that's the longest streak in the majors right now. And he had 2 last night. 1-1.
Well, CC's been watching this series, and I mean, if you're not pitching, you're studying the hitters, guys that are swinging the bat well, guys that aren't. This is the hot hitter on the Toronto Blue Jays right now, guy that you need to be careful with. Six-game hitting streak, well over 300, 6 home runs and 10 RBIs in that span. There's things about hitting streaks, but when you throw in 6 home runs in a 6-game period, it's pretty hot.
3-1. Now 3-2. This is what we've seen from him in this series. That was on Thursday night. And yesterday against Nova off the facing of the second deck. And then against Phelps into the bullpen.
I think that everyone got a little bit harder. First row, then off the backing, then off way out in the bullpen. So you can just tell his confidence is getting higher and higher.
3-2. High fly ball, left field. Vernon Wells for the first out.
CC went to a breaking ball there, 3-2. That just goes to show you he's not really going to challenge him in hitting counts. Encarnacion just got under that one.
Longest home run you ever hit?
Camden Yards.
Yeah.
There's a brick out
there.
there.
The one, yeah. That's right, on Utah Street. Did you know it was gone when you...
Yeah, that one you did.
Style a little bit?
No. Arthur Rhodes was pitching. I had to hit him again. So you always got to think about that next at bat, you know.
There's a strike to JP Arancibia. Count 0-2. Arancibia at the plate. Let's take a look at the Jeep hitter scouting report, Paul.
Well, he's off to a pretty good start. 8 home runs in the first 23 games, but don't expect number 9 off CC. He's 2 for 16 lifetime off CC. Just has not handled him well. In first pitch home run, he had a 2-run home run the first pitch of his major league career. It's a good way to start a career, huh?
That's a gutsy scouting report because you make a prediction in the middle of it. He's not hitting a home run off CC today.
If these reports mean anything.
Driven to left field, going back Wells. He's on the track. He's at the wall, and Paul O'Neill exhales.
It just cannot be done. Oh, my.
You were a little nervous right there.
I heard the crack of the bat. I saw he was out in front just a little bit. This is a day game. The ball is going to carry. You see that ball? He took a little bit off of it. Knew he didn't get it, but you just hope. Well, that'd have been bad television. You know that?
Or great. Here's Laurie. And there's a strike. Fans would have been upset with you for jinxing.
Absolutely. I'm off the hook, though, for the rest of the game.
The 0-1. And a strike 0-2.
Look at that stat I just gave you, Michael. Is that unbelievable?
8 for 20 against the Yankees, Laurie is this year. He's 0 for 19 against every other team.
He wants to just stay here. No?
That one is driven out to center field. Gardner's back. And he'll put it away. Well, Paul said that the longest home run he ever hit in Baltimore. Paul, let's relive that. Arthur Rhodes deals.
How do you get those that quick? That's a good one.
How about that? I think that just landed here in 2000. give fans the ability to choose games that fit their schedule. Pick out preferred seating locations for games against the Yankees' biggest rivals, save money off the advanced ticket price, and receive access to Yankees postseason pre-on sale. For more information, call 212-YANKEES. Visit Yankees.com. All right, we go to the bottom of the second. 3 long fly balls against Sabathia as he retires the Jays in order at the top of the inning. And Hafner fouls it off.
Hafner getting a start against a lefty, which we haven't seen a lot of. Always a challenge as a left-handed hitter, because there are times where they go with matchups. So when you do get that start, you kind of take it upon yourself to try to have a good game, show everybody you can hit lefties.
And that makes it tougher, because the less time you're in the lineup against lefties, the tougher it is to hit lefties.
Yeah, when you're in there every single day, it's just, you go up there and hit. And when you get there, you figure out who's pitching. But, when you're playing against all righties, and then all of a sudden you're picking up the ball late from lefties, you're not seeing a lot of them. It is a big adjustment.
Only 7 at-bats against lefties for Hafner. 1 hit. And with Girardi, it's more or less he wants to keep Hafner healthy and doesn't think he could play him in 162 games and keep him healthy. So if you're going to rest him, it makes sense to rest the lefty against the lefty.
Good pitch to hit there. Just was a little late on it.
Melky runs it down for the first out.
We talked about it earlier, and here they come. They just keep creeping out there, and until they get really halfway out in the field, they're going to affect the way the guys see the ball at the plate. And I don't care what kind of mechanics you have, what kind of swing you have, if you can't see the seams of the baseball and you cannot pick up the release point, it makes it very difficult to hit.
Now, I was talking to Oral Hershiser last week, and he said that in his great season that he had with the Dodgers, he might have had 5 games that started at 4 o'clock at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
He said, and all I did was throw fastballs for 5 innings. They gave me, he said, essentially 25 scoreless innings.
Right. And you have to know how to take advantage of that too. Don't overthink it. Throw strikes. Go right at guys.
In the old days in Anaheim, Nolan Ryan and Frank Tanana would take advantage of that all the time. Not that they needed help.
Yeah, back in those days, both of those guys were 9,800.
Now, Frank Tanana eventually became a junk baller when he hurt his arm, but he was effective in that role, but Nolan never became that.
See, Hap, he doesn't use that changeup very often to lefties, so as as a left-handed hitter, you can almost get rid of that and just look fastball in and out, kind of that slider or cutter.
Looped into left field. It's a base hit for Ichiro.
See, that ball got a lot of the plate. Ichiro's wheelhouse as he bails. Slaps it to left field.
Now, we might see a different Eduardo Nunez here in this at-bat, because Kevin Long has been telling him, listen, you're too narrow in your stance. Your feet are too close together. You're more successful when they're spread. And he said, I would tell him that. He would think that he was opening up enough. He said, but today I twinned up video and showed him, and it clicked in how different it was from year to year. And you can see he's really spread out. He said because when he's really narrow, he's got to get that foot forward, and then everything else drags.
Yeah, when you have a long stride, which a lot of the old players had long strides. Mickey Mantle had a long stride. Well, you see here, and then you see here, when you have to stride all the way out there, as that front foot is striding, that bat is getting back, and it takes a long time to get it in the hitting area. You kind of drag the bat. You see a lot of people have got away from the long strides when they use leg kicks. Some guys actually step backwards now, where it shortens everything up. It makes you so much quicker to the baseball. Fooled way less.
He said, and you can tell a hitter all you want. He said, and he could think he's making the stride that he needs. He said, but a lot of hitters need visuals. He said, so when I showed him the splits from last year and now, it clicked in. Wow, there is a big difference there. He said that for a lot of this year, Eduardo's left foot was right around the point of home plate. That shows you how close he is. He said it should be up in the front of home plate.
You know, stances do change. I think if you take pictures of people's stances throughout the years, you know, great hitters, they change. You make adjustments, but not drastically year to year. You see that stride. That stride's about 6 inches now, which really allowed him to open up, take a healthy cut there, where, you know, if you're striding 16, 18 inches, everything has to move with it. And it just, a lot of movement is very hard.
Ichiro was going, the ball fouled back.
Again, there's 2 good pitches and 2 good swings, but, you know, he's 2 for 27 against lefties this year, so he's just not confident. Although he's swinging the bat better, he's not confident that it's going to work. Until he gets a couple hits, it's not going to click in. I think Kevin Long did a good thing of showing somebody. I mean, video is the best thing for hitters.
And he works the wall.
Yeah, it's
or not. Called him a strike. Wow.
Kind of locked him up inside. He missed 2 fastballs, you know, out over the plate, up. And he kind of locked him up inside here.
So he is punched out by Kellogg. Close, but it did miss. Long did add one thing to the discussion about Nunez. He said, honestly, we want him to hit. We think he can hit. He said, but if he feels the way he's feeling right now, he hit 125. He's valuable to us.
Well, what they're pitching, I mean, you're in the game if you play good defense, and you just figure you'll get enough quality, good at bats and clutch hits. And it's talked about all the time with good pitching. You need good defense, and you know he made in my mind, kind of changed the game late in the game last night. 1-run game, made that play in the hole, kind of a short hop, and threw him out. And you know, if he misses that ball, it's a rally. A guy's on base with nobody out. Change that whole inning.
Check this out, Paul. Laurie is playing third base as if it's late in the game and he's guarding against a double. So they're expecting Stewart to just pull the ball right down the line.
Also kind of goes to the scouting report. Laffey throws a lot of off-speed stuff. Maybe they're going to throw a lot of change-ups to him.
That's lined up the middle and caught there by Asturias. They make the toss to second, but the out is the line drive to the shortstop. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We're going to go to the third. There's no score in the Bronx. Leads us to today's Cold Hard Fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. This date, April 27th, there have been 6 no-hitters pitched on April 27th. That's the most in Major League history for one date. And the most recent one, CC deals a strike to DeRosa, was Kevin Millwood's.
It's 10 years ago. It's not so recent.
Lincoln scoreboard, there's no score. And the 0-2 to DeRosa. Line drive, foul.
Oh.
Good play by the ball boy. Let's check in with Meredith Moragovitz, who is also on the third base side. A little bit away from the ball boy. A lot of injuries, Meredith, and 2 more yesterday, and really a very, very tough break for Francisco Cervelli, who was playing so well after last year's disappointment.
And you know what, Michael? Joe Girardi said after the game that he really feels for a guy like Francisco Cervelli, who had worked so hard to get back up here to the major league level, did everything he could to get back here. And he had said to me multiple times throughout the course of the season so far, look, it has always been my dream to be a starting catcher. At times I can't believe I'm here right now, but I realize how hard I worked. I'm going to take this opportunity and make the most of it.
Nunez with a nice running play. I'm sorry, Marty.
And Michael, you know, he just went on to say that he realizes the hard work doesn't stop with last year or this offseason. He's going to continue to do everything he could to improve himself at that catcher's position. So really just a rough break for him. He's going to be out a minimum of 6 weeks. He did have surgery today. Everything went as planned. But now the Yankees are faced with Chris Stewart and Austin Romine as their catchers here.
Now the other injury, although it's not great news, it's not as bad as it could have been. There was a lot of fear with Ivan Nova with the pain in the elbow, but they did an MRI, and it's not the worst news.
And that's exactly what Joe Girardi said. Best case scenario, yes, you don't want to lose a starting pitcher. You certainly don't want to have to put him on the DL, but it's not the elbow. It's more the tricep. There's inflammation there, so he was put on the DL. And Joe Girardi saying, look, this is something that's going to heal. If it were something more, we'd be a little bit more concerned. We're not sure exactly how much time it's going to take. Right now, really the only thing that Ivan Nova could do is rest it for a while, hope it gets better, and then eventually start a throwing program. But it's not something right now that they feel as though is going to keep him out for an extended period of time. So best case scenario, in the meantime, it'll be David Phelps filling in for Ivan Nova in that rotation.
So he fills in for Nova, and filling in the bullpen is Vidal Nuno, who really has had a very good start to his AAA season and was pretty good in spring training.
He really was, and he opened some eyes here at the major league level throughout that spring training. He went to AAA and just continued the success that he had, and it was funny. Austin Romine said when he was asked about Vidal Nuno what he thought about his start to the season.
And Nunez had that in his glove, knocked it down, but no play, so the first base runner is Izturis. We'll see how they score that. It's going to be a base hit. Take another look. He'd probably say that he should be able to make that play. There's the Mercedes-Benz Yesmo. Tough play. Went up there, couldn't get it settled into the glove. So one of the real great comments, I thought, from Austin Romine. Ground ball and past the diving Nix and down the left field line. So Bonifacio picks himself up a double, and the Blue Jays have runners on second and third. One of the great comments by Romine was that it was like playing PlayStation baseball with Nuno. He said, I'd call the pitch, call the spot, and he would hit it every single time.
And Michael, that's exactly where I was going with that. It's you push any button on that controller and you know it's going to go exactly where you want it to go. Had nothing but glowing reviews for Nuno so far this season. And really what that does, Joe Girardi had said multiple times, look, it'd be nice to have another lefty option in the pen. It gives him that other lefty option, and really it enables him to give Boone Logan a day off here or there, whereas before, if he needed a lefty, oftentimes it would have to be Boone Logan unless he wanted to completely stay away from him, which gave him no lefty option. And Nuno's a guy that can not only come in and get one batter or two batters, but he can also give you multiple innings. So certainly he's looking forward to the opportunity. He said Larry Rothschild had spoken with him and said, don't put too much pressure on yourself out there. Just throw the way you've been throwing and you'll be fine. But he did admit that he was going to come out here during BP and just take a look around and take it all in and kind of savor it his first time up here.
So CC with 2 strikes on Rajay Davis. Yankees are in at the corners. They'll give up a run on the ground ball to short or to second. There's no score, top of the 3rd inning. Yankees and the Blue Jays. Yankees have won the first 2 games of this series. Now the Yankees made room on the roster for Nuno, the 40-man, because he was not on the 40-man. So they put Derek Jeter on the 60-day DL. So that's just a clerical move that clears a spot on the 40-man, allows them to bring him up to the 25-man. The 0-2. Grounded to short, charging is Nunez. A run will score, and the Blue Jays lead this one 1-0.
Kind of rude to the Blue Jays to start a rally in the middle of Meredith's report, don't you think?
It is. It's awful. But, you know, I guess CeCe's part of the blame. And finally, about Austin Romine, Yankees love his defensive skills, and in AAA, he was actually hitting this year as well, Meredith.
They really do, and that has never been the question with Austin Romine. They have liked his defense even in AA. The question has been in the last year, he had some back issues. Would he be able to come back from that? And he did make it back at the end of the season, got about a month plus in, and he said he felt confident. There's something that he goes through every day now to continue to strengthen that back. He said it's about 30 to 40 minutes of a workout that has just become part of his everyday routine, but they are very curious to see what he will be able to do offensively. And there had been some question. They had said in the past, look, we're not going to bring a guy up like Romine unless we intend on playing him every day. They didn't have the luxury to wait with him and to allow him to work some things out at the AAA level due to the injury to Cervelli. So right now, Joe Girardi going to take it day by day. It'll depend on matchups. It'll depend on the scheduling. But he does like to kind of keep catchers and pitchers together. So it'll be interesting to see who he matches Romine up with. And also, he's a guy that is familiar with some of the pitchers on this staff. So the guys that he is not familiar with, he said he doesn't think it'll take him long to really acquaint himself with the new pitchers.
All right, Meredith, we'll hear from you later on the postgame show. Thanks a lot.
Talk to you guys later.
So 1-2 count on Melky Cabrera, runner at 3rd. Nice block there by Stewart. And today Romine got to the park early so he could catch Kuroda's bullpen, and the Yankees want him to do that every single day. Now, he knows most of these pitchers. He's caught them in spring training, and he said, but you have to know what they're doing this year, what's working this year. He said, so that's an adjustment period. He said, but if I had a catch today, I'd be fine.
We heard on our post game yesterday, you know, with Cervelli going down early. Let's talk about this next inning.
Boy, the Euclid have to hustle because CeCe fell down on the mound and could not get over to first base. So Nunez, or should I say Euclid, was way off of first and had a long run to catch Melky at first base. He did just that. It's 1-0 Jays. JaguarUSA.com. By Just for Men. Just for Men Auto Stop is foolproof. Gray is over. And by Acura. Acura Advance. All right, we go to the bottom of the third. Sabathia gives up 1 run in the top of the inning, so it's 1-0 on the Lincoln scoreboard. It'll be the top of the Yankee order at the bottom of the third. Joe's bunt takes a strike.
I think Toronto scored every game in this series first, but they haven't held up. So see what Happ does with the 1-run lead.
Scary play at the end of the top of the third with the ground ball to Youkilis. CeCe falls down, so he can't get to first. Remember, there's a runner at third, so if Youkilis doesn't get to first before Melky, that run would have scored. But he just got in ahead of Melky, and it looks like CeCe's okay. Grounded softly to short as Torres gets Gardner for the first out.
Second time through the lineup, we've talked about it, and Happ was all fastball changeup. Saw some breaking balls in that count. I think he's going to change things up a little bit.
So here's Nix. Fly ball right center, drifting over Davis for the second out.
You see that sun, and as the old stadium, this stadium, left center field, left field, it's a tough sun field. Beautiful day, blue skies. The only bad thing about it is if you're playing left field, you got to fight with that sun.
Derek Jeter here for the third straight game. He battles that sun from shortstop, and this field is laid out the same way geographically as the one across the street. You know, 1-0.
Remember, you'll remember, Mike. I was right when I was traded over. I started playing left field, and you know, opening day, you're a little uncomfortable playing left field because I had played right for the past 6-8 years in Cincinnati. Took the field opening day, sun's out, I look up and I'm like, really? Are you serious about this? I mean, I'm a little uncomfortable with left anyway. Now I got to fight this sun all day?
Not only the sun, but you had a lot of ground to cover.
Yeah.
One and two.
Done a good job at this at bat, getting ahead of Robbie. Last at bat, he 9 or 10 pitch at bat, and he pitched behind the whole time. See Robbie frustrated there. It's because you get out on your front side a little bit too quick against lefties, and you just don't have time to lay off that breaking ball. And you just don't see very often this front hip kind of flying out there and getting out there too quick. He's been so good and has so much time where he stays back. Much better there. You see this front side is just going to get out there too quick on the pitch. That's a good swing. Pitch before that hip just kind of collapsed and got out there.
Here's the 2-2. Really battling.
Another good swing. To me, this is a good hitter that's seeing the ball well usually, but he's having a tough time seeing the ball today because of the shadows, because he's fouling off some pitches that he usually just hammers. See Robbie step out, perhaps making him wait. And sometimes as a hitter, you kind of just get lackadaisical, kind of flat-footed. Last thing you want to do. You just want to walk in there, get ready, and see the ball and hit it. Got a good pitch, fouled off. Every once in a while, as a pitcher, I mean, you got to look in there and just think, you know, what do I have that he's not fouling off? He's fouled off the slider, he's fouled off the fastball, down and away and in. This is the 8th pitch of the at bat coming up, and it's just, you hate to give a guy like Cano, that good of a hitter, that many looks at pitches.
Swing and a miss.
There, good two-seam fastball inside.
Yankees go down in order as Cano battled against Jay Happ, and finally Happ won the battle with an inside fastball. We go to the 4th, 1-0 Blue Jays. Call 1-866-NY quits for free help today. Which 4 Blue Jays on the 1993 World Championship team would later play in the postseason with the Yankees? I know one of them.
Yeah, we got one of them.
Here's Bautista. That one is drilled deep to left field. Does it have the height? Yes, it does. See ya. Home run, Jose Bautista, 2-0 Blue Jays.
I saw it yesterday with a long home run, and his first at bat just missed. He's kind of coming off some injuries, so he's starting to tune it up too. Dangerous hitter, good player, all-around player, does everything for this team. The fastball kind of just got a little bit too much plate. You see Bautista was coming out of the box thinking the same thing. Did I get enough airtime under that? Sometimes those line drives just kind of hook down. Well, they got it all going on. I think Reyes has something to do with all these home run trots and stuff. Again, when you get some of your big hitters hot, Encarnacion, Bautista, and they start hitting home runs for you, as an organization, you got to win those games. I mean, you can't have guys having big games and still go home losing.
Well, you look at Bautista and you look at Encarnacion. All they do is pull the ball. That's it. They pull the ball. Why would you ever throw them a ball on the inside of the plate?
Well, if you look those last couple home runs, that pitch was away. It was a fastball away. Encarnacion took a pitch inside and outside. You know, the key is to, you know, get them in and out. And right there, when they're hot, they're hitting that ball out. But if you look at that pitch, if we can get a replay, that ball is away. That's middle away. Not an inside pitch. It's just they're such good plate coverage and such quick bats. They get around there and hook that ball out of here.
So Encarnacion with a single. Tap the other way. Cano with a long run. We'll get Aaron Sebia as Encarnacion moves to second.
Sebia's kind of cooled off, and all of a sudden you see Bautista getting hot, Encarnacion getting hot. If you're a Blue Jays fan, if you get Laurie hot, all of a sudden you know you've got a lineup that can produce some runs.
Runner at second, one man out. Laurie with a fly ball to center in the second. That one gets away from Stewart, and Encarnacion will get to third. And they say that Laurie did not hold up. The first base umpire, Chris Conroy, called it a strike, so they count on one.
We always talk about the hitters. The catchers, they don't quite see the ball as well either. I mean, shadows are tough on everybody.
That should be a pass ball, right?
Yeah, I mean, it got a lot of leather. Chris Stewart's done such a good job defensively.
And he just scored a pass ball. And the infield is in. Popped up, right field. Ichiro has a good arm. Here comes Encarnacion. Here's the play at the plate. He's safe. I believe that Stewart dropped the ball.
He did, but we're going to have to see a replay here. Did Encarnacion get to the plate? Ichiro threw an absolute bullet. He knew it was going to be a close play, kind of an in-between fly ball. I tell you what, if you're a young kid or you're a coach, this is what you do not do as a player. Go head first into home plate, just looking for injuries. Maybe a better angle here. Oh, you still can't see it. Looks like he went across the plate. But Michael, you know, your only defense as a base runner are your spikes, and the players have fear of your spikes coming in, and going into home plate, going in head first, it makes no sense to me. Yeah, he got the plate
by a fingertip. Here it is on Yesmo.
Definitely out until that ball left the glove. But boy, you're right, Michael. I think he got the black of the plate there. There's a little black rim around that white spot. It's called an error, Michael. Error on the
instead of the sac fly.
Yeah,
that's a gutsy call, but a good call. So it takes an RBI away from Laurie.
Tough call, right?
Yeah.
Bang, bang play.
Billy Altman is the official scorer.
Official scorers are kind of like your old teachers. Some of them grade real hard, and some of them are kind of nice to you, you know. It just depends what city you're in.
And that one is punched through the right side. A base hit for Isturis. So a rough inning for CeCe.
He's thrown a lot of fastballs. He really hasn't had good command of his changeup, and is not throwing it as much as he usually does. These guys are starting to look for that fastball and poke it away. He's really working that outside corner. That ball's up. Hitter can see it a lot better. And again, with that runner on first, that hole gets even bigger on the right side.
So Larry Rothschild with a trip to the mound. So 55 pitches at this point for CeCe.
It just seems like, you know, he's not driving that ball down in the zone. Good pitch there. Some of these balls are just up in the zone a little bit. A big difference from a ground ball and a line drive.
Fly ball. Battling the sun is Gardner, and he'll make the play for the final out. But 2 more runs for the Blue Jays, and it started with this home run off the bat of Jose Bautista. They added another one. We go to the bottom of the 4th, 3-0 Toronto. Smokers Quit Line quiz. Which 4 Blue Jays on the 93 World Championship team would later play in the postseason with the Yankees? Well, we know David Cohn's one guy. Right?
I got Homer Bush, too.
I don't know if he was on that team, was he? That's it.
No, maybe not.
Tony Fernandez, Luis and Al Leiter.
Oh, of course, Al Leiter. We should have thought of that.
Wait, so
Coney wasn't even on there.
Coney was on in 92. Wow, 93 went to Kansas City. I was wrong.
You talk about an offer. We just pulled an offer.
Yeah, that was awful. And we left guys on base. It wasn't just an offer.
You will not enjoy your dinner as much tonight because we just screwed it up.
That just annoys me. Great question.
Tricky.
Yep.
Get the years mixed up, you miss the answer.
Because you don't think of Al Leiter as having been in the Yankee postseason, but he did get here at the end. And then all were the same deal, but they didn't stay a long time after that. Here's a 2-1. Count 3-1 to Wells. And he walks him. So Happ was on the bench for a long time. Sometimes he was a little command. And he comes out and walks Wells on 5 pitches.
Yeah, I think pitchers don't mind sitting on the bench when they tack on runs. But again, it is a long break.
Here's Kevin Youkilis. Rounded into a fielder's choice in the first inning. The 1-0, way high.
Good at bats for Kevin Youkilis. Out of being out for a week or so, you go up, and if a pitcher can allow you to get ahead in the count, you see pitches, kind of get back in the rhythm.
See if Euclid sits on one here. Pitch misses outside, and the count 3-0.
Kind of what happened yesterday with Laffey. I mean, they got a lead and all of a sudden started walking people, getting behind, giving the Yankees opportunities to get back in the game.
So first and second, nobody out for the Yanks. And Pete Walker, the pitching coach, quickly out to the mound. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. So that conference breaks up. Hafner with a fly ball to left in the second inning, hitless in his last 9 at-bats. And a rare start against the lefty.
And he got a good breaking ball last time, and he was just out in front and kind of held back and then kind of flared it to left. And should see the ball a little bit better every time.
He missed again. Now the pitcher is in the shadows and the hitter in the shadows, but there's that one line of sun in the middle. Does that affect it?
Yeah, you're actually better now than half and half, because now you're in the dark as a hitter and the pitcher is in the dark, and it might go through, you won't see it, but it's still that bright background looking out towards center field.
Finally throws a strike, 1-1. First and second, nobody out, bottom of the fourth. Count 2-1.
Boy, this game just slows down. When you see a pitcher struggling with control, you see the fielders just kind of looking around, getting flat-footed, and pitchers don't want to do it, but I don't think they realize how much it affects your defense, and you get lazy out there.
You think they learned from Mark Burley? Deep drive, right center, Davis back, track, wall, lead, see ya! A 3-run home run for Hafner. Game tied at 3. Well, they couldn't do much to defend that.
Well, Gibbons has seen it before. I mean, you give free passes up, you give guys opportunities to have big at-bats. A fastball up, and Hafner hammered it to right center field. 3-run homer. See Davis do everything he can. Ball's halfway out in the bullpen.
New game as Ichiro digs in, and he rips one to right field. Bautista makes the play for the first out. So Hafner goes yard against the lefty. First home run off a lefty since July 13, 2012 against Ricky Romero, who's actually making a start today for A-Ball Dunedin in the Blue Jay system. And what a find Hafner's been. That's his 6th home run. He has 13 runs batted in. And the only question with Travis Hafner, keep him healthy. Count 2-0. There's never been a question about him being able to hit.
He's in a good role here, too, and a great ballpark for him to hit in. I mean, he's a power hitter. Yankee Stadium, very good for him when he pulls the ball.
Nunez rips one off the glove of Bonifacio for a base hit. He makes a big turn at first. He'll stop right there.
We talked last time up, he took some healthy swings. Until he gets some hits, he's going to lose his confidence. But right here, good piece of hitting. Ball away, slap it away. And again, he's thinking double until that center fielder says no. Good decision.
And a strike.
You know, something about what you said earlier, Michael, about Kevin Long saying, you know, that as long as Nunez plays defense, you know, we want him to hit. But I tell you what, as a young player, so much emphasis is put on how many hits you get every day. What are you doing offensively? Very hard not to let a horrible slump. I mean, he's not in a horrible slump. I mean, it's early, but if you don't hit, sooner or later, a lot of young kids will take it out to the field. So it'd be great to see him turn it around offensively. Really help him on the defensive side, too. Derek Jeter didn't have to worry about that. He's got some 3,000 some hits.
Stewart with a fly ball to center. Davis is there for the second out. That brings up Gardner. Gardner was second on the team in RBIs with 12. He's been supplanted by Hafner, who has 13. So Happ was given a 3-0 lead and has given it back. Now let's see if CC steps it up. Pitch outside.
Oh, tough pitch. Happ, you know, he's been struggling throwing strikes, and all of a sudden, you know, he's trying to get ahead of hitters now and back 3-3 game. All of a sudden, the umpire gets a little tight on you.
Little tutorial, mid-inning. CC struggled in the top of the fourth inning. He gave up 2 runs, but his team has picked him up.
One thing you do get with CC Sabathia is you do get a lot of innings. Win or lose, he usually gets a decision. I think he had a decision in every game he's pitched this year. 7 innings, 8 innings. Absolute workhorse for your pitching rotation.
It's also going to be interesting, Paul, how this game plays out for the Yankees, because Girardi has said he's not going to use Mo 3 days in a row. And I asked Mo today, so I can pitch today. I said, well, your manager says you're not.
He had 20-some pitches last night.
He goes, well, I'm going. I said, I don't think you are. So that was an argument I had early, but I don't think Mo's available. And you've got Chamberlain and Robertson, who also pitched the last 2 days.
It's way ahead of ourselves, but you know, you also do have matchups with Boone Logan.
The 2-2. Broken back, looper into center field, a base hit. Nunez rounding second will stop right there. So Gardner with a single.
Really good piece of hitting, and you know, I know it's a broken bat, it's a jam shot, but if you're beat as a hitter and you open up to try to catch up, you know, you'll see Brett Gardner just continue this swing through it. He's beat, but he continues through it, breaks the bat, but you're strong enough as a major league hitter to get that ball to the outfield. You realize you're beaten, you open up to try to get to it. Pretty much given away in at bat.
Nix lines one right at the shortstop Historia. So the Yankees hit Happ hard. but they don't really knock him out of the game at all. But they do tie the game on that one swing. Travis Hafner goes yard. A 3-run shot will go to the 5th. Has a new game. It's 3-3. And he starts Davis off with a breaking ball as we look at the top of the Blue Jay order. Goes off speed again, 0-2.
A good change up there, and this is what he needs to work in. A lot of the Blue Jays hitters, good fastball hitters, especially when CC misses up. That changeup really changed things.
Up the middle, and Cano grabs it but can do nothing with it. So an infield single for Davis, and he is a threat to run.
You know, Davis, if you do see him, Michael, have you seen him on the field close? I mean, he's big.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think of him as, you know, your typical speedster. He can run. A lot bigger guy than you would think he'd be. Got good speed, though.
Yep. He was going and then stopped as Melky swings and misses.
False break over there. That's what we used to have to do in the minor leagues, Michael, to show the coach that you could get a good jump. I never figured it out. You had to do it like 2 or 3 times to show them you were getting a jump. Well, by that time, everybody thought you were stealing.
Probably also tired. Count 1-1 to Melky.
See that ball, and CC, you know, shows a little frustration by hitting his glove. I mean, that's a changeup. That's a ball that you went down, kind of sinking away. The ball kind of stays up. We'll go to first here to see if we can figure out if he's going or not.
Now he is. Foul ball.
Told you, Michael, you draw throws over there. You can try to the really, really good pitchers don't like to go to first base because, you know, they're so intent on getting out the hitters. When you think about it, one of the great – Andy Pettitte obviously has a great move, but Pedro Martinez used to really, really watch runners where a lot of your star pitchers, you know, get so involved with the hitters that, you know, they don't have great pickoff moves.
That one is lined in the left field, a base hit. So now the first two runners are on, which is not what you want to do against the Blue Jays, because then the big boppers coming up, Bautista and Encarnacion.
It's a slider right there that just, you know, you'll see a lot of the sliders from CeCe when he's on end up at the back foot of those right-handed hitters. Well, that ball kind of just hung out over the plate, which to me, I mean, he's battling a lot like Kuroda did in Game 1, where he doesn't have his great stuff. Not a great fastball, not a great changeup, not a great cutter, but he's battling to keep this game close where he can give his offense a chance to win.
You know, it's been all month, so we don't make that much of a note about it, but CeCe has been living at 89 with his fastball, 89, 90. And Joe Girardi keeps saying, I expect that his fastball will get better. He doesn't think he'll ever get it up to 97 anymore. But he thinks 93, 94, and that's a big difference. And you could see in this inning, Paul, he's really relying on off-speed stuff when he got hurt with the fastball last time.
Yeah, but a lot of the times when you look at his fastball, you know, it has been location. Sure, it's not 95, but you know, you have to be able to locate that thing down in the zone, and he's just been up the last couple starts. There's 91, and that's, I mean, that's location right there. That ball's in off the plate, but it just missed.
Sean Kelly up in the bullpen. Joe Girardi and Larry Rothschild did not want to go to the bullpen in the fifth inning with CeCe on the mound and the way they've had to use the bullpen the last couple of days. And with CeCe, you figure you're going to get innings. Just missed that one, popped it up to shallow center. Coming on as Gardner, he'll make the play. So you take a little bit of a sigh of relief there, and then now you know you have to face Encarnacion.
Again, this ball's up. This ball's probably, you see that's just a good pitch to hit. And you see Bautista, his reaction, because you just don't see these pitches very often, especially in big situations. The ball got in on him, and he just missed it.
So one away. And now Encarnacion. .91 on the corner, 0-1.
So CeCe really slow the game now because of Davis on second base. I mean, you have such an advantage as a left-handed pitcher to hold a guy on first. But all bets are off when he gets to second. Much easier base to steal off a left-handed pitcher.
Fly ball to left, and Vernon Wells puts it away. 2 outs.
Yeah, I tell you what, every swing in Encarnacion takes, it looks like it's headed out to the seats. That ball got in on his hands a little bit, but it's just like he is on everything. Actually, that looks like it went off the end of the bat. Frustrated too. Got a pretty good pitch to hit. I'll tell you what, as a hitter, when you're hot and you're feeling good, you don't ever expect to make an out. This becomes a big hitter. I mean, you're 2 men on, nobody out with Bautista and Encarnacion, and all of a sudden you've got 2 outs, an opportunity to get out of this inning without any runs.
Count 0-1. There's 92 right there.
Started off with a slider and then went to the fastball at the middle of the plate, but got it up to 92. This is where you really expect him to try to put him away with that slider down and in, back of his foot.
Runners lead. The 0-2. Foul away.
And fastball again away. Does not trust that cutter. Middle of the game, your team has got you. This is a big hitter. When you get out of this inning, I mean, this is a big, big hitter for CC Sabathia.
Throwing his best fastballs of the afternoon at 92 miles an hour, and that one's fouled back.
See both these teams struggle. Running scoring position combined, both teams 1 for 10. Score runs. They've been scoring runs with home runs.
Davis at second, Cabrera's at first. 2 men out, top of the 5th inning. 3-3 game. And Aaron Sebia steps out as Stewart goes out to talk with Sabathia.
I think CC has been shaking him off in this at bat. I think Stewart has called some off-speed stuff, and CC's gone back to his fastball. Get on the same page.
Missed outside.
There's that breaking ball, but he missed out of the zone, which is good. You expect to see that down and in, something that Aaron Sebia will bite on.
Fly ball the other way, and Ichiro runs out of room.
Back to the fastball, 92. He's really pounding him, thinks he can get that fastball by him. Had a little cut on it. Outside target kind of cuts over the middle, but had a little movement. Second pitch of the bat coming up, so Aaron Sebia is not giving in. There's 2 guys in that split screen wishing for different things, huh, Michael?
Check swing, 2-2. So he's consistently at 92 right now. That must be frustrating for a pitcher and a different challenge, because he would be able to reach back and blow a fastball by a guy. But 92, it's hard to do in the big leagues. You have to really spot it. And there's got to be changing speeds involved as well. He's going strictly fastball. And he got him. Blew it right by him. And that will do it. So he works out of the jam. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 men left on base. The end of 4.5. We're halfway through at 3-3. without a batting practice today, and the Tri-State Court pregame only on Yes. Get a chance to see the reigning National League Cy Young Award winner R.A. Dickey against Phil Hughes. There's Robinson Cano to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning. And the pitch is high from Jay Happ.
Here you go with the knuckleballer. Never seen him really pitch a full game, Mike. I saw highlights last year when he was really dealing.
Fly ball center field. Davis puts it away.
Kind of anxious to see that tomorrow.
MLB.tv is celebrating 11 years. Join the millions of fans and subscribe today. Watch every out-of-market game live online on your favorite mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.tv Premium. Visit MLB.tv today. MLB.tv baseball everywhere. Here's Vernon Wells against Happ. He swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Bonifacio puts it away. CeCe, after that inning, does not want to come back out there and pitch 3 or 4 pitches.
That's exactly what Happ needed after the last inning, giving up 3 runs and walking some people, to come out here, throw strikes, and get his teammates right back up to the plate.
Youkilis takes outside.
Youkilis has seen 6 balls today. I think he walked on 4 balls his first time up. I'd like to see him wheel the lumber a little bit, huh?
They grounded into a fielder's choice in the first.
Oh, it's after 3 balls. You're right. My bad. I mess up there once in a while, Michael.
That's all right. You're allowed. Nobody hits 1,000.
Pretty good paycheck if they did. Huh?
Yeah. The 2-1 to Youkilis. 2-2.
Check out his swings and see if he is kind of gimping that back, but it's like he went after it.
Oh, come on, Jeff, that's inside.
And he thought that was inside. You could hear it from up here. He said, "Come on, Jeff, that was inside." But Jeff Kellogg did not think so. So the Yankees go down in order. Was it too far inside? You decide. An 8-pitch inning. We go to the 6th. Life, I can do this stat of the game is that Brett Gardner this season is one of 3 players in the bigs to play every inning of every game in center field. And the other 2, Jacoby Ellsbury and Austin Jackson. So Laurie, DeRosa, and Isturiz here in the 6th. So CeCe only had an 8-pitch respite. And he deals a strike to Laurie, 1-1. Popped up foul and out of play.
Change up there again, high. I mean, it's like he can't drive that change up down low, but he's driving that fastball. He's sticking with it the last couple innings.
Spins him off the plate.
If you're going to pitch away, I mean, it's a great pitch to get guys off the plate. Cut that ball in there, in off the plate.
Driven out to right center field. That ball is gone. That got out in a hurry. A home run for Laurie. And the Blue Jays lead 4-3.
Michael, I think you got fooled on the shadow. He went out there and kind of disappeared there. I knew right off the bat he hit it hard, and you can see Laurie. I mean, he's one of those high-intensity players. He showed him away, and boom, he got another pitch up. Laurie's 2nd home run of this series, both to right field. Again, you kind of lose it in the shadow. Next thing you know, you see it bouncing in the seats.
Here's DeRosa, and there's the strike.
Michael, you could just see with his intensity. I mean, if he's a guy that can get hot, a lot of this team, a lot of his teammates can just feed off of it.
Grounded to short, charging is Nunez, fires high, but right there is Youkilis for the first out. You know, we talked about this in Toronto, so let me ask you, can a teammate or a guy be too high? Can he be too intense? Can he burn himself out and burn his teammates out?
I think if it's fake, yes. I think if it's genuine, what you see him, it's a reaction. It's just the way he plays the game. Then I think people really feed off it. I think when people do things, you know, one day they're this way, and the next day they're acting like they're happy. I think that people will see that it's not real. I think people that play hard and have a lot of intensity, I think that people do feed off of it.
He got a big hit in the series last weekend, and he was almost out of his mind at second base. That one's grounded to short again. Perfect throw, 2 away. He was flexing at second base, almost like he was a member of the WWE. Here it is, Paul. He gets this big hit down the third baseline. Gets a couple of ribbies.
Well, you see it's just emotion. Let's go, let's go. I mean, that's 50,000 people cheering in your ear, and you know you're struggling, you're hitting 1-something, you come up with a big hit to help your team win. So the pitcher didn't like it, but you know I got no problem with it.
Bonifacio fouls it back.
Laurie, I like the way he plays. I like the way he plays defense. I mean, he just looks like he can do a lot of things. He's strong. He runs well. He plays hard. He hustles. He gets tattoos. He does it all, Michael.
He does get tattoos. The 0-2. So Girardi has seen CeCe give up a couple of home runs, one by Bautista, one by Laurie.
Love to see him get out of this and get him into the 7th inning. This will be a good inning for CC if he can get this last out. Stay away from a lot of pitches.
It's all CC right now. Yankees don't have anybody up. Swing and a miss. Bonifacio down on strikes, but the Blue Jays take the lead. Pitch away. Laurie goes that way into the right center field seats. It's 4-3 Toronto. At the first month of the season, including this tough week against American League East foes, the Rays and the Jays. It's the Joe Girardi Show tomorrow at 5, only on Yes.
Well, 4 or 5 years ago, Michael, did you ever think you'd say that? A tough Rays and Jays series? Remember, these teams were kind of easy games in this division.
Absolutely. Never thought it. But things are fluid. Hafner swings and misses.
Hafner went deep on a high fastball. You see he starts him off with a breaking ball.
They have the shift on. 3 infielders on the right side. The third baseman, Laurie, is in short right field.
Yeah, there's a lot of room over there.
He has tried to push bunt that way, so he's not adverse to it. Other guys just can't do it or won't do it.
No outs, leading off. Wouldn't be opposed to it. I mean, obviously, earlier in the game when you got an opportunity to drive one out of the park, which he did, you wouldn't think about it. I'll tell you what, once you hit a home run, you feel like you're seeing the ball pretty well.
High fly ball, center field. Davis makes the play for the first out. Beautiful sun splash day here in New York. And here's Ichiro. He's 1 for 2 today. Singled in the second, fly ball to right in the fourth. That one is lofted left side. Makes the seats. Laurie gives it a look. He got into trouble in that same spot last year by trying to dive into that camera well.
He's saying that's enough.
Yeah, he's not going in there again. Here it is, Paul. This even looks like it hurts. And it hit that back railing. He got hurt. Yeah. He was out for a while. That one is served in the left field, a base hit.
You can just see it coming with Ichiro, Michael. His at-bats are getting better and better. He's not hitting fly balls. He's hitting little line drives and ground balls, and that's when he's his best.
Now here's Lowry on this pop-up, looking at the wall, going, no, I remember this. I'll pass.
Once in a while you learn things, Michael. Wisdom's a great thing.
Well, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it.
That's not yours, Michael. Who'd you take that from?
Oh, I stole that from somebody. From Churchill, something like that.
Roosevelt or somebody, right?
Brett Cecil up for the Blue Jays. Nunez picked up a single his last time up. He made a slight adjustment in his stance before the game. But he pops that one up. Encarnacion puts it away for the second out. So 2 down. And that's going to bring up Chris Stewart against Happ. Happ's had 100 pitches. Been more economical of late. 25 pitch first inning, 26 pitch fourth inning.
See Stewart here, Michael. I mean, what do you see Romine? Do you see him playing a couple times a week? Do you see him getting the opportunity to go out there because he is a young guy?
A bunt down the third base line. It's a beauty. A base hit for Stewart.
And Stewart does so many things for the team defensively, and he's a smart hitter, smart player. Again, Laurie back that far, put it down, jogged into first base.
Pete Walker will come out and talk with Happ. Well, you asked me that question. I asked Joe Girardi that question before the game. You know Joe has an answer for everything. And he goes, I have no idea what I'm going to do. You have no plan. He said, I'm just going to play it by ear and see. And he said about Cervelli and Stewart, the one who plays better is going to play more. And Cervelli started to play better, and he did play more. But we'll see if he's comfortable going with Romine. He has no doubt that Romine can handle things at the big league level defensively. The only question is, will he be okay offensively? And he was hitting at AAA. He got a cup of coffee with the Yankees a couple of years ago. Last year was almost a lost year for Austin Romine because of his bad back, but it seems like he's conquered that. He's the Yankees' second catcher. All right, so the conference is over on the mound. It's Happ against Gardner. Gardner 1 for 3 against the Blue Jays lefty. Hits the outside corner. 0-1.
When you think about it, Russell Martin signed with Pittsburgh. I mean, that was like, oh my goodness, how are we going to get by? And the catching defensively, offensively has been fine. And it's a shame that Cervelli obviously comes down with an injury, but that hasn't been one of the worries.
When Cervelli got hit yesterday, and Girardi and Steve Donahue ran out, Cervelli said it doesn't hurt at all. And then they noticed that his middle knuckle was gone.
It's gone.
It was just gone. It had sunk into his hand, so obviously it was broken. And Donahue knew that and said, all right, you gotta leave the game. The 1-1. 1-2.
Hard to play with that.
I would guess. Here it is.
And the thing is, most catchers, and you saw last night, have that hand tucked behind them. to get it out of the way.
And Francisco had surgery today, and it went as planned, and it's about a 6-week injury. Runner goes, swung on and missed, and Gardner strikes out. So the Yankees waste an opportunity. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left on base. We're going to the 7th, 4-3. Yes Network Yankees games on your PCs or laptops with Optimum Online. Get a full season of live Yankee games on the go for just $29.99. And if you're an Optimum customer who watches Yes on Optimum TV, go to YesNetwork.com to get more information and subscribe now. Top of the order, top of the 7th against CC Sabathia. The Blue Jays lead 4-3 on the Cadillac scoreboard. Davis 1 for 3 with a ribby. Got his RBI and a ground out. Grounded to Nix. 1 away.
Those are the type of outs you want if you're CC Sabathia. A couple pitches. If he can get through this inning, then he can probably get back out there in the 8th.
The thing that makes a guy like CC an ace, he does not have his best stuff today, but he's out there battling. The team's in the game, and he is giving them length. Way inside.
Yeah, looking at this game, I don't see one pitch that he feels like is his A pitch today. I mean, he's gone with his fastball at times. He tried with his changeup. His breaking ball has not been there consistently. It's just one of those days, and we talked about it game 1 with Kuroda. Just work. This is what you get from a veteran pitcher, where a young guy just kind of throws in the towel and might give up 6-8 runs. These guys battle, keep the team in there. Kuroda end up getting a win.
That one's popped up, a long run for Youkilis and for Suzuki, and they can't get there. No man's land.
You're right. There's a long run for Youkilis. Once in a while, you can just drop one out there, Michael. Use that defense, no matter how you defend it. Just finds a hole.
Swing and a miss.
So that's 88 with a little tail, but again, a little up in the zone. It's just, you know, this is what I got. This is what I'm going to try to get you out with today. You've got two managers hoping different things happen. Good pitch there, 91 on the outside corner.
Now Girardi had Kelly up, and you assume that if any of these two got on, he'd go to Kelly here, but Melky strikes out for the second out, so he's going to let CC deal with Bautista.
Well, we talked a lot earlier in the game about the shadows, and the shadows are pretty much gone now. So, you know, you're back to kind of even with the pitcher where you can see the ball well. It's a little bright in center field, but all of this part being in the shade gives the hitter a pretty good look at the baseball. That's one thing that I never could understand, and Bernie did it too, is wearing sunglasses to the plate. Just could not figure out how you could see the seams of the ball with sunglasses on. Could wear them in the outfield, couldn't hit with them.
1-2.
Some hitters do. Wade Boggs did. Bernie did.
Bautista does.
You would. You look cool for sure.
Nah, I don't think I would do it. I think I look phenomenal with sunglasses. I don't wear them when I drive because I just don't feel like I see the same way. But again, I look terrific.
To drive?
No, I didn't wear it to drive.
Wow. Sunglasses are to like to drive with.
I see better when I don't have sunglasses on.
Well, you can't miss a car out there, Mike. It's not like you're looking for little tiny details on them.
The 1-2. 2-2.
Every game I do, I find out something. It's like, what is wrong with you?
There's a lot.
And now you've got a baby in the world to teach her all these things.
That's right.
Huh?
I'll let Jody handle that. Here's the 2-2. Driven out to center field. Deep. Going back, Gardner on the track at the wall. He makes the play. Slow getting up, but he's okay. Jogs in. He takes an extra base hit away from Bautista. So CC retires the Blue Jays in order 1-2-3. Bautista gave it a ride, measured by Gardner back to the wall, and he makes the play for the final out. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch here at Yankee Stadium. The Blue Jays 4, the Yankees 3, but will stay right here to honor America in the Bronx.
And please direct your attention to the area behind home plate and welcome two honored guests of the New York Yankees. Marine Sergeant Joshua Stevie, who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom, and Marine Corporal Jessica Roditas, who served in Operation Enduring Freedom. The Yankees would like to say thank you for your sacrifice and service to our nation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
Nets are now down 3-1. They have lost home court advantage. They lost one game in Brooklyn. They had to take one of the two in Chicago. Now they go back to Brooklyn having to win, down 3-1. And, Paul, they had a big lead in the fourth quarter. They let it get away. That's a heartbreaker.
I'll tell you what, Michael, I'm not going to lie. We're peeking over our shoulders and they're playing hard. Both teams playing hard. Playoff basketball, playoff baseball. There's such a finality to losing that it's fun to watch. And, it was a heartbreaker for Brooklyn, no doubt about it.
All right, Joe Girardi, or should I say John Gibbons, makes the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. So J-Hap is done, and the new pitcher is the hard-throwing righty Esmail Rogers. And he's going to face Nix, Cano, and Wells.
Well, these games, Michael, have all been close. 4-3 today. I mean, every game, either team could win.
Cadillac scoreboard 4-3, Blue Jays.
It ought to be, right?
Absolutely. There's a strike.
Love those scouting reports. If you're Nix, a hard thrower, you go up there, you gear up for that fastball, and you get a slider first pitch.
The 0-1.
Doesn't hurt, right, Flash? Flash Flaherty says that doesn't hurt. I think after the first couple of them, you don't feel them anymore, but I don't get how this doesn't hurt. Catchers all know about it, though. It happens a lot. I'll tell you what, Michael, I was just watching it, looking at the glove on the pitcher. I'm really impressed. It's called a trapeze model, and I started using it later in my career. First guy to wear the trapeze was Willie Mays.
Really?
Yeah, you see the stitching on that. He's got a souped up version there with the blue, but that extra stitching, Willie Mays special, that trapeze model. Love that glove. Pretty cool, huh?
You didn't have the fancy stitching, right?
No, mine was just regular leather, but same idea.
Foul back and out of play. Well, if Willie Mays used it, then that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good
I had
advertisement.
what they called the hold back or fast back, where it was black and it had only one finger could come out. Where you see that's an open back glove. Just like bats, there's so many different varieties. It's a little smaller than the outfield version, but.
Line drive, right field, and caught by Bautista. So Nix hit it hard, but Bautista had to play beautifully.
He's had good at-bats all day. He's hit the 2 line drives that have been caught. This is all you can do as a hitter. Ball down and away, just hammer it the other way. You can't steer it. I told you, Michael, I used to draw little eyeballs and glasses on my bats once in a while to try to help him. You see where you want to hit the ball, but doesn't always work.
Did you find that drawing the eyes and the glasses helps?
Not like it's superstitious or anything. People thought I was nuts when they saw a pair of glasses markered on my back. Do weird things when you play this game sometimes. You know that?
With you, I believe it. Aaron Sebia goes out and talks with Rogers.
You've got to have big plans tonight. Look at that. Taped up, pine tart. Everybody's got different varieties.
I had big plans, Paul. I called 2 restaurants that Jody and I wanted to go to. Couldn't get in till like 9:30, so we're just going to wing it.
Just hang around the park. It's a beautiful night. Then go out late.
What park? This one?
No, you got a Central Park. You got a park in Manhattan, right?
Go hang around Central Park at night?
Take a nice little
a boat ride?
No, boat ride. Where's a little buggy ride?
No, I'll pass on that.
Along
Horse
with the
and
other
carriage?
Yeah, along with the other million tourists down there.
The 2-0. Line drive, base hit, down the right field line. It goes into the corner. Bautista fields it quickly, And Cano gets himself a double. That was closer at second than Cano would want to admit.
I'll tell you one thing, Bautista, we talked about his hitting and his outfield. He's got a great arm. I'll tell you, he just didn't go through the motions on this play. Robbie Cano, I mean, just a slider down and in. He can just handle everything the way he's hitting the ball now. Bautista put the ball right on the money. Everything closed right to the end. You see nothing. He's not drifting. He's waiting to see the ball. Bautista got a good ricochet. About this time, Robbie C kind of breaks it down, knowing it's a double. Doesn't realize Bautista's still going to go through the throwing a good throw in there.
Can you imagine if he got thrown out on that? Eighth double of the year. Here is Vernon Wells with a runner at second. Yankees trail 4-3, bottom of the seventh.
Seems like Vernon Wells gets a lot of big at-bats in this series, huh? Been up with a lot of runners in scoring position.
That behind Cano.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll do it. So Vernon today is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. This game frustrates a lot of people because it's a game where you fail so much. But I think Robinson is not as frustrated as others.
No.
It's a little easier for him.
I always thought that about Mariano, too. I mean, it's just a different perspective. I mean, how often does he fail? He fails, what, twice a year or something? Where, you know, the everyday guys are out there. We're failing more than half the time. Oh, does he look worried about anything?
Not a bit.
I guarantee he's got dinner reservation. He got in, Mike. Well,
I didn't.
He owns his own restaurant, so he can always get in there.
Now, Wells has been so good for the Yankees, and we showed you his stats. But with runners in scoring position, you said he kind of comes out of what he does well. He's 4 for 22 this year so far.
Yeah, it seems like he gets back in his whole pattern of wanting to pull everything. I mean, some of his at-bats where he shoots the ball to right field, and then he goes back to what he's comfortable doing, and that's pulling the baseball. And then sometimes in these bigger at-bats, you know, you've got to stay with the same approach. Missed with the slider.
Those are the numbers we talked about. Each team with 9 hits. The Blue Jays have 4 runs, the Yankees 3. We're in the bottom of the 7th. The 2-1. Line drive, base hit. Cano will round third. They're sending him home. He will make it. An RBI single for Wells. We're tied at 4.
I'll tell you one thing. As a player, sometimes you take hits and you put them on video and you watch them over and over and over again. And if you're Vernon Wells, this is what you want to put in your mind. You can pull the baseball anytime you want, but with men in scoring position, they're going to pitch your way, drive it away. Really, really good, solid at bat. Tie game.
And that's significant because he did not go right of second base much last year at all. And he's done it about 5 or 6 times, and you can see he is pretty happy about that base hit. So are the Yankees. Here's Youkilis. Fastball foul back.
Another important thing, you know, if Youkilis can get back to hitting and Vernon Wells can continue to hit, Robbie Cano is still going to get pitched to. And there's going to be times where, you know, if you can't put somebody behind him that's swinging the bat, Robbie's not going to see any pitches to hit.
John Gibbons trying to figure it out. It's been a rough first month. So his team has picked him up again. Down 3-0, they tied it at 3. Down 4-3, they tied it at 4. Can they go ahead? Breaking ball strike.
Kevin Youkilis having a little trouble with that inside corner today. It's kind of moving on the umpire. Kellogg's called a couple pitches inside. That's that curveball that it's inside. It breaks back late. As a hitter, you don't think it ever gets to the inside corner. fastball in here, see what happens. And again, that's as a hitter, you're very confused right now. You don't know whether to flip a coin or move off the plate. You've kind of lost the sight of where the inside corner is, because one pitch is called a strike and the next pitch is called a ball.
Keeps pounding it inside to count 3-2. Do they send Vernon Wells to try to stay out of the double play?
I'll tell you what, late in the game, I mean, you've got a strikeout pitcher out there. I don't think so. I've been wrong both times today.
There he goes. Grounded softly to third. What that does, probably wouldn't have been a double play anyway, but it gets the runner in the scoring position.
Probably going to get Hafner a free pass.
Or they'll bring in the lefty. Well, they've got two lefties in a row, Hafner and then Ichiro, but it looks like Gibbons is going to go for the left-hander.
Yeah, putting that guy in motion made a lot of things happen for the Blue Jays.
So that's going to do it for Rogers. Lefty comes on. On the 2013 CRV. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by the Experience Buick Lease. It's a new lease on luxury. Those little guys having a good time. Beautiful day at the ballpark. To see the Yankees tie it. Now have a chance to go ahead. So the Blue Jays bring in the lefty Brett Cecil, and he's done a good job. This is his 12th game already this year. And he's going to face Travis Hafner, and Hafner is 0 for 11 lifetime against Cecil.
Michael, those streaks usually have to end at some point, huh?
So you believe in do?
Yeah, I was 0 for 17 or 0 for 18 off Jesse Orozco. And it finally ended. I hit a 3-run homer, and they released him. The next day, he was not in the ballpark.
Well, let's see if Hafner can channel you right here.
Sooner or later, it's got to end if you get enough hit.
So the organization that Jesse was in at the time said if he can't get out O'Neill.
Exactly. It happened twice in my career. Once with Don Sutton when he was with the Dodgers. Hit a home run, he was gone the next day. And once with Jesse Orozco. Make you feel pretty good as a hitter, huh? If you can't get you out anymore, you're gone.
Runner goes. Throw to third. Nice play by Cecil to keep that, or should I say, Laurie to keep that going into left field. So a stolen base for Wells.
Well, I don't know if that's called or what, but it's a smart play. Guy coming out of the bullpen so intent on trying to get ahead of the hitter. And we talked earlier, left-handers have such an advantage with runners on first base, but not second. Really smart play by Vernon Wells or Joe Girardi, whoever felt that one.
So now Cecil has to be careful about bouncing the ball because that would give the Yankees the lead if it got past Aaron Sebia. High drive. Right center. Going back. Davis on the track. It's over his head and up against the wall. Vernon Wells scores. Hafner round second. He's going to third. He's going to stop right there with an RBI triple. And the Yankees are up 5-4.
You keep seeing Jeter. Now, he must have made a call earlier in the game because a lot of guys are going up to him in the dugout every time Hafner, and he's had some great at-bats off lefties today. Rajai Davis took kind of a weird angle at this ball. I don't know if he kind of lost it for a while, but it wasn't a straight line. And you're seeing Yesmo right off the end of that glove. It's almost like you're feeling the wall instead of catching the ball. Big game for Hafner off lefties all day.
Well, you said you believe in Dew, so that's his first hit against Cecil.
See that? There's two predictions, Mike. Aaron Sebia cannot take CCD.
You got a little nervous with that one.
And Hafner's going to break his streak.
Now, how about the value, Paul, of CC battling? He can get himself a win.
Absolutely. I mean, we were talking in the fifth inning. I mean, whether he was going to get through the fifth. But again, not one pitch could he really count on as being a dominant pitch today. But all of a sudden, you look up, he's battled, and he's got a lead. And now, I don't know if he'll go back out or you'll go straight to the bullpen. Tough call with the lead. 2 outs, and there's nobody warming up. There's a strike. 2-1 to Ichiro. There's some stirring out there, so you're right. I think that CC again, 7+ inning, even on a day where he really had to labor to get out. 5 has been the magic number for the Yankees. They're 8-0 this season, scoring 5 runs or more. Check swing. Did he go? No. And the count 3-1. Swing and a miss. 3-2. So the bullpen does not do a good job for the Blue Jays today, as Esmail Rogers and Brett Cecil have given it up. Hafner is at third. 2 men out. 3-2 count on Ichiro. Feel like you're being tested, Michael? Like you've been given the rules and then like your boss is just testing you? I just got a text from our boss. I know I'm not allowed to read text during the turn of the game. And we'll find out in the 8th inning what that text is all about. The Yankees scored 2 runs here in the 7th, and they take the lead. A big blow by Hafner. Yankees up 5-4.
Bautista solo home run is 7th of the year. Hafner a 3-run home run is 6th and an RBI triple. And Sabathia has gone 7, given up 9 hits, battled 3 earned runs, hasn't walked a batter. Here's Edwin Encarnacion. All right, what the text say?
Just asking me about Jesse, if he was 50 or 60 when he gave up that home run to me. And it popped up. I didn't have to text back. I did not want to take my eye off the field.
Nice. That one is driven into center field, right at Gardner. And you always hear, Paul, the hardest ball is the one hit right at you.
Yeah.
Looked like he struggled there.
Well, it knuckles a little bit. Sometimes, ball hit either way has a spin to it, and you can kind of gauge it. But sometimes when the ball is hit so square, it almost kind of knuckles. And as an outfielder, you just kind of, you got to read it. And again, you're right. That ball right at you has a lot of movement to you sometimes.
So on the Hyundai scoreboard, Yankees up 5-4. It's amazing, Paul. We've been here 3 games. Has Encarnacion hit that many balls not right on the screws?
Oh, I know. He's on everything, and it's not like he's serving them to right. I mean, big, full, healthy hacks, which means you're seeing the ball. Your mechanics are good. It just feels like you can unload on anything.
Kelly has been warming, and Boone Logan is back there stretching. Grounded to Nunez. 2 outs.
Michael, if you think about it, as much, and both of these balls have been hit hard. CC hasn't pitched with the lead all day, but I just wonder if the decision was made to continue with him at this point because of Robertson's thrown 2 days, because Mariano's thrown 2 days in a row, and try to get him through the 8th, and then we're going to have to figure out what happens in the 9th. At this point, we're going to see if Mariano knows what he's talking about, huh?
He said he could go. Jordy said he has no intention of pitching him 3 days in a row.
Early in the season, I think the manager's got the call. Looks lonely out there today.
I even told him, see, I'm glad I said, what do you even go out there today? Sit in the dugout.
What better seat could you get in Yankee Stadium than right there?
But he never gets a chance to hang with Jeter and the boys, so, I mean, you're out there for no reason now.
It's like his old friend out there, the bullpen.
And he does look lonely.
That bullpen's been pretty good to him over the years.
Yes,
Michael.
It has. He's been pretty good to him.
Yeah, don't turn your back on the things that are good for you, man. He just looks like a little kid that's not allowed to play today, doesn't he? Huh?
He's a 43-year-old kid who can't play today.
Looking around like, I know I should be up getting loose. This is a 1-run game.
The 2-1. Popped up. Euclid and Cano. Cano calls him off. Cano makes the play. And how about Sabathia? With less than great stuff, he has an 8-pitch, 8th inning. He gives the Yankees 8. He gives them the length they need, and he's leading 5-4. By Verizon Fios Quantum Internet, technology that makes you feel superhuman. That's powerful. Reigning National League Cy Young Award winner R.A. Dickey goes for the Blue Jays. Phil Hughes for the Yankees. Our coverage begins at 12 with the BP show. 12:30 is the pregame show, and 1:07 will be first pitch. Eduardo Nunez will lead off against Brett Cecil.
The best I've seen Phil Hughes throw in the last 2 years. Last outing in Tampa Bay. Best slider he's had in ages.
See the Hyundai scoreboard, 5-4, Yankees lead.
Had one pitch where he had Molina out on a slider. He threw a fastball, cost him a couple runs, but boy, he was on. It's exciting to see if he can bring that back out tomorrow.
1-1.
I'll tell you what, Joe Girardi looks like a genius today, bringing Hafner off the bench against the lefty.
Yep.
3-run homer and then driving in a possible game winner.
Bunted foul. For those that could be wondering, because Hafner's a big guy, probably doesn't get many triples. It's only the 4th time in his career he's had a home run and a triple in the same game. That's probably more than I thought it would be.
Yeah, that combination's a little different. I mean, you wouldn't think he'd get too many home runs and triples because most of they go out of the park. I mean, when he hits them, there's as much as he's got as much power as anybody on the team.
And also a progressive field, and at one point Jacobs Field doesn't really yield triples, but played 81 games on the road.
I'll tell you what, that place used to rock when it was Jacobs Field. Huh?
Well, the Indians are struggling again, and they have one of the lowest attendances in baseball, average attendance. He had a chance to go back, but the Yankees had made the initial offer this offseason, decided to come here. So far, a good choice for him and for the Yanks. Nunez wraps one to right field. And there's one away. Prius is the official hybrid of the Yankees. Enter for your chance to win the Yankees Prius plug-in. Go to Yankees.com/Prius. You spoke about it yesterday or maybe earlier today. Did that ball get caught in the lights?
Yeah, you saw Bautista go into it, and it's just a horrible feeling when the ball's in the lights, even in a day game. The lights are on here. And it's just, you have to fight, and hope it comes out at the end. You stay low. I'll tell you what, he's a good outfielder. Good all-around player.
That's got to be scary.
Oh, it's just like it happens so quick, and it's like it'll never come out of those lights.
You also could get smoked in the face.
It can happen. You usually can do that. I mean, you'd rather get hit somewhere than just whiff it. And then you got to run back to the wall, and usually there's somebody in the first row that doesn't have anything good to say to you.
Nice play by Laurie. Saved the double there off the bat of Stewart.
We talked about Laurie. I mean, he's just an aggressive player at the plate in the field. I mean, he's got a great arm. Looks like a third baseman. Up a little bit. Major league play right there. Not catching the ball, but coming down and having the ability to just make a strong throw across the field.
Here's Brett Gardner.
Now, do you remember my pregame scouting report on CC Sabathia?
I think so, yeah.
There's a couple things there that could come to see what happens. Again, if he beats Toronto today, they hold this lead. That'll tie an all-time record, beat an all-time record of being a team 10 consecutive years. And also, this would be the first time in his career that he won 4 games in April.
There it is. They popped it up.
We're looking for history. It's a beautiful day. University of Hawaii. We want him to go in there.
You actually said the 4 wins in the Open, which was a stat that got my attention.
Yeah, because I mean, as successful as a pitcher as he's been, you figure he always gets off to a good start. He's a second-half pitcher. He's going to get better. But I tell you what, he battled today.
Well, let's see if the bullpen could nail this one down for him. Get him his first 4-win April. Looks like it's going to be Joba they turn to. Stick around. Yankees.com. Results will be revealed in the post-game show. No Mo today. Joe Girardi refuses to use him 3 days in a row this early. So they go to Joba Chamberlain. And he's pitched 3 days in a row now.
Yeah, but he gets to pitch and try to close today, and that's such a different thing. It's years ago when Joba broke in the league, I mean, this is where you penciled him in into the future when Mariano shut it down. But he's got a big opportunity here in a one-run game to try to hold on for CC Sabathia.
Well, the Blue Jays trying to avoid their third straight loss to the Yanks, so they're going to send up Colby Rasmus to pinch hit for Mark DeRosa.
Number 62.
Rasmus did not start against the lefty Sabathia. Very quickly about Sabathia, the whole month he has not had his top stuff. And he's battled, he's a grinder, he knows how to win games, he does not give in when the stuff isn't there. And he keeps the Yankees in all the games, and he can get a reward today with a victory when he didn't have his best stuff.
Absolutely. He's the leader of your pitching staff. He and Andy Pettit. I mean, you respect what they do. They go out there, just grind it out, give you opportunities to win. On their great nights, they shut people down. On their bad days, they still keep you in the game. Fun to play behind guys like that.
There's a breaking ball inside, 1-0.
This is Joba's third day in a row, right, Michael? And he's been mid-90s the first 2 days out. So he responds to a couple days. He's 94. Pitch here. I mean, you don't want to walk somebody. You start to, the doubt starts creeping in if you're not used to being a closer.
There's Adam Warren. And there's right. Laid that one right in there. Crowd of 40,000, 258. Hoping to see Joba close this out, the 3-1. Joba has not had a save since September 21st of 2010. That was against Tampa Bay.
He's fought back. He's in the count now where he can go after him. You don't want to walk a guy. You see the tying run. Can't get that winning run up there. Make this guy beat you. Make him swing the bat. Good
swing and a miss.
I'll tell you what, he went to a good pitch, went away from the fastball and threw a good slider, curveball, whatever you want to call it. Joba's got a good one when he's throwing the ball hard. Ends up in the dirt, but boy, that's a gutsy pitch right there, 3-2.
So one out. That's going to bring up Esturis. Count 1-0. They have Kawasaki and Blanco on the bench left. Kawasaki, a left-handed batter. Blanco, a righty, the second catcher. Pumps in a fastball, 1-1. Adam Lind is somebody they could use in this spot, but he's away on paternity leave. One. And now the tying runs on base. Esturis lines a single to left center.
Boy, it sure makes that strikeout look even bigger.
You got to stay here after the final out for the WB Mason postgame. Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry recap today's matchup and then take a look around the rest of baseball. Plus, Meredith Marakovitz is in the clubhouse for all the reaction, including the manager's report. It's the WB Mason postgame. It's only on Yes. So a pinch runner for Esturis is going to be Kawasaki.
Tell you what, you bring him in to try to score on a double, but you know, Chris Stewart has been so good at throwing runners out. You can't take a chance.
Now the Blue Jays got Bonifacio in the big trade with the Marlins, 12-player deal. But they really don't know what they have in him yet. He was on the DL 3 separate times last year, 2 times with a thumb injury, final 2 months of the season with a knee injury. He's better in the outfield than he's in the infield, but their outfield is pretty much set, so they're hoping that he could play second base, and they know he's got a live bat. He can hit the ball. But again, John Gibbons trying to find out what exactly is it that he has in Bonifacio. So a big spot here for Emilio. Strike. A little less on the fastball today than he's had the previous 2 days, but he's spotting it well, has some late life to it.
He's thrown that one good breaking ball to Rasmus to get the strikeout. He's got a couple chances here with Bonifacio. Really got to make sure that you don't overcook this thing, get it in the dirt. Go the fastball up and away.
Kawasaki bluffed at first there, kind of spun his wheels and didn't go. Top step sort of game. The 1-2. Got the fastball up to 95 and really at the knees. Good pitch, 2-2.
Some job on a lot of these guys, and I noticed a lot last night with Nova. You know, they strike 1, strike 2, and then they have trouble putting guys away, and that's what you take for granted with Mariano. He just puts people away immediately. There's no extra pitches.
2-2. Chop toward third. Oh, what a play by Nix. Fires to first, not in time, but he might have saved a run with that play, keeping it from going down the left field line. So base hit for Bonifacio.
Can't say enough about what he's done defensively. This ball was just placed well, slapped over the bag. He knocks it down. Everything he can do, intentionally bounces it, and Euclid does a good job. Come off the bag, make sure you block this ball. Cannot get by you. Bonifacio lefty gets out of the box, runs too quick for Nix, but boy, he did a good job to keep that ball in the infield.
So now the tying run is at second. The go-ahead run is at first. That's going to bring up Rajai Davis. And a strike. Boone Logan is warming up, and no lefties coming up. He would come in and try to close this game if Joba loses Davis.
See Joba, that heart's pounding now. That's 97. Really, really trying to get through this inning, win this game for CC Sabathia. Every time you're putting a roll that you're not accustomed to doing, it's a little bit different. And this 9th inning is always a little bit different if you're not used to pitching. Good pitch there. Right side. And Chris Stewart, I don't know if he's staying away from that breaking ball, afraid that he'll hang it or afraid he'll throw it in the bird, but he had an opportunity with Bonifacio to go to the breaking ball, and he stayed with the fastball. Be surprised if you don't see a breaking ball for this count's over. It was.
Shallow fly ball. Ichiro is there, and the Yankees are out away.
Wasn't even his best, but it was down and it was off speed, and it was something that Davis had not seen in that count. Big out. You've got 2 outs, you got a chance, and you see that's not that wicked breaking ball, but a good pitch down and away. Not much you can do with it.
So it comes down to this, the one-time closer of the future, now the 7th inning Yankee, trying to close this on a day that Mariano Rivera is not available because Joe will not use him 3 days in a row. And that job's going to be open next year. This is Mariano's last season, so Joba trying to stake his claim for 2014 and get a save here in 2013. Faces his former teammate Melky Cabrera. Breaking ball strike.
You throw it once and get a big out, you go back to it, and that's the big breaker. That's a good curveball right there.
B-0-1. Now 1 strike away.
Feel it now. This is where, if you're Joba Chamberlain, you know that he hears the crowd. You know that he's pumped up. You've seen this before. He loves to get that strikeout. You just got to try to stay back and do what you're doing. Finish that curveball or get away with that fastball. Don't try to overthrow something just to get that strikeout.
First and second, 2 outs. Yankees up 5-4, top of the 9th. And Stewart wants to get this right with Joba.
You know what? This is actually a good meeting. Whether it was intentional or not, I don't think. But just to calm him down, don't let him get too much caught in the moment of trying to throw one past somebody or throw that perfect curveball. Realize where you are. You're 0-2. The hitter's in the hole, not you.
And the pitch. 96 outside, 1-2.
Still a good pitch. Down and away. Nothing he can get hurt with.
Chamberlain deals. Spoils that one.
I'll tell you what, that's a tough pitch to foul off. And, you know, the only pitch you really want to stay away from here is the slider. The slider can get fat or flat. That's a pitch that can be hit hard. The fastball and the curveball are the 2 pitches he can use in this at bat.
Kawasaki leads off second. Bonifacio off first. The 1-2. Just got a piece to stay alive.
Threw that breaking ball down and in. He's got Melky in the swinging zone where he's swinging at everything. You see, that's a great pitch. Ball that you can't do anything with.
Joba deals. Taps slowly to third. Nix Field steps on the bag and the Yankees win 5-4. Joba Chamberlain nails it down. CeCe gets a victory. A big day for Travis Hafner. And the Yankees have won their 3rd in a row against the Toronto Blue Jays.
And he went to the breaking ball. A pitch that Melky had not seen since the first pitch of the count. Gutsy performance by Joba Chamberlain. 3-2 curveball to strike out Rasmus early in the inning. Couple men on, and he gets a huge out with Melky Cabrera.
And you got to stick around for the postgame show to find out who's today's Chevy Player of the Game. That was a good pitch. Low and away.
Yeah, Nix, I mean, you can't say enough about what he did today. Played great defense. Probably saved a run in the 9th inning. Hit the ball hard all day. Guys are filling in, doing good things for the Yankees right now.
And a big smile by Joba as he saves CeCe's 195th career victory. So all is good in Yankee land as the Yankees win this one 5-4. They trailed 3-0. They trailed 4-3, but they come away on a Saturday evening with a 5-4 victory. We'll be back to wrap it up.